This is Kardec Radio bringing to you the book Among Brothers of Other Lands, written by several spirit authors and psychographed by Chico Xavier and Waldo Vieira. This partial audio recording will cover Chapter 17, New Method of Healing, Chapter 18, Personal Commitment, Chapter 19, Problem of Direction. Enjoy. Chapter 17, New Method of Healing, by Kelvin Van Dyne. There is a problem in the maintenance of balance and peace that demands reflection. It is the problem of improvement. In order for that to happen on the physical plane, we are perfecting medicine on earth since the Egyptians. The history of the science of healing is one of the most beautiful chapters in human history. Sacrifices, abnegations, heroisms, experiences. All have been done in order to heal infirmities and extinguish handicaps, diminish trials, and extinguish organic calamities. Pharmaceutical labs, hospitals, and retreats have been called to the struggle. And any loved one who falls ill, they receive our care and resources in order to recover as soon as possible. This is in regard to the body. What about what concerns the spirit? The individual who gets sick of the viscera also falls sick within his or her mental mechanisms. There are vices of conduct as much as degenerations of the liver. If we provide remedy to the hepatic occurrences, why do we slap the mind of the individual in spiritual perturbation? If we have anesthesia to extract the cancerous formation, why don't we use forgetfulness to extinguish the obsessive process that aggravated itself due to pride and vanity, envy or rebelliousness that one was filled with? Why not treat the one who offends as a sick person who is more in need of care than censure? If a friend appears spiritually deformed through the face of bitterness or uncharitableness, let us help him or her to get rebalanced. Let us immediately start applying providence to those infirmed ones. Let us make them feel better. No one gives liquid fire to the bearers of a gastric ulcer. We never readjust someone's heart with the flames of criticism. Let us clarify the difficult situations, correct mistakes, and establish the truth. But let us not exceed the limits of human goodness and the responsibility to live as a surgeon restores the lacerated organ without destroying it with knife strokes. Mistakes do exist, but let us experience a new method to heal mistakes. Let us make the one who makes a mistake feel better. Washington, D.C., USA, June 8, 1965. Chapter 18, Personal Commitment, by Emmanuel. I planted the seed, Apollo watered it, but God made it grow. Paul, First Letter to the Corinthians, chapter 3, verse 6. There shall be no personalism solvent in the crop of the Spirit. As much as in any effort of the terrestrial field, no cultivator can boast of doing everything in the land of the soul, either in regard to the sowing or harvesting. After the effort of whoever plants, there follows someone to care for the newly grown vegetable. Someone will help it, others will correct it, and some other ones will protect it. However, thinking of the definitive decentralization of spiritual service, many fellows run away from the initiative in the constructions of moral order that depend on us. Invited to edifying commitments, many of them, in this or that area of service, affirm themselves inapt for the task, as if they should never start the learning experience for their inner betterment. Others assert with irony that they were not born to be leaders. The ones who proceed this way leave to God simple obligations in regard to their ascension, progress, purification, or improvement. But the laws of the Creator do not exempt the individual from the duty to collaborate in the edification of goodness and truth, in the benefit of oneself. Let us observe the word of the Apostle Paul, who already knew the issues of the self-improvement in regard to evangelization. I planted the seed, Apollo watered it, but God made it grow. The necessity for individual devotion to the cause of truth is visible and clear to such conception. We know that the essence of all activity in agricultural works proceeds originally from divine providence. From God comes the seed, the soil, the climate, the sap, and the orientation to the development of the tree as much as the intelligence, health, courage, and the discernment of the cultivator come from God. But we are forced to recognize that someone must plant. Paris, France, August 23, 1965. Chapter 19, Problem of Direction, by André Louise. Many people proceed in their way because they lack a friendly word that favors their direction. How many times do we anesthetize the notion of responsibility to the elixir of convenience? And we would have proceeded also in the same way before the renovating tasks of other reincarnations. There is no pejorative intention in identifying the companion of ideal and work, whom we designate as being half-spiritist, once our proposal is to elevate the level of performance of the family in the doctrinal prosperity. The half-spiritists exist and certainly deserve great merit for the respectable qualities that they already present in themselves. But we must help them through prayer so they can complement the edifying accomplishments that they are summoned to perform. Usually, they are the ones who are convinced of the realities of the Spirit. However, they do not realize its importance, exalting phenomena, and doing nothing for the dissemination of this truth. They believe that it is necessary to work for the good works, but never cheer themselves up for a minimal task. They highlight the excellence of the Spiritist harvest, but refuse any commitment of work in it. They run away from collaborating in the constructive action, and if they find zealous and disciplined colleague in service, they interpret them as fellows who tend to fanaticism and cowardice. Invariably, they are ready to receive the help of the passes or the spiritual support, but they are allergic to annoyances, even if minimal ones, when serving others. They think of themselves as prudent, and they are so withdrawn in the Spiritist edification in the name of prudence, so much so that they hamper the steps of numerous brothers who are arranged to work. They accept the Spiritist precepts, but use them in a way to follow the prejudices of the world and embrace the worst social guidelines, claiming that fraternity needs to be with all. They reveal themselves as excellent talkers, highlighting the truth with a hot and expressive verb at times of calm skies. However, they fade away in the gutless and lukewarm word, when stormy clouds of a lie demand the testimonial of truth. Let us reflect upon the issue and pause for self-analysis. Let us recognize that the grandeur of the redeeming doctrine of the spirits brings us the blessings of Jesus as a whole. Let us avoid our deficient classification as learners with half-utilization. So instead of placing us in the pathway of half, it leaves us halfway behind. London, England, August 10, 1965.